Something that a lot of people talk to me about is how do you gain more information? How do you learn about how to cope with MS? And one of the things that I found very useful has been chatting with other people, meeting other people with MS and sharing experiences. Now, that seemed like a logical thing to do, but particularly when you're newly diagnosed, one of the most common things that newly diagnosed people will say to me is that they're scared. And that's often because when you're newly diagnosed, often if you go to a meeting where there's lots of other people with MS, you might see people who have MS which is either more aggressive than yours or more advanced than yours. It may be that you're still able to walk, and you might see people in wheelchairs or using walking aids. And that can be scary because, you're thinking, oh gosh, is that going to be me? And, it may be, it might not be. That's one of the most difficult things, and I've spoken about this before. It's one of the most difficult things to come to terms with when you're diagnosed with MS that I found is the uncertainty of the condition. I would say though, and again, this is something that I often tell people when they come to me and they're newly diagnosed and they say, well, you know what, should I go to a meeting where there's going to be lots of other people with MS? I can only really talk about my own experiences because obviously everybody is different, and I no way no way would I want to tell people, oh, this is the way that you should do it, because everybody is different. Everybody copes with their diagnosis differently. But in my experience, so I went to my first MS meeting, it was probably about a year after I was diagnosed. And I did go there. There was lots of people there with MS. It was much more severe than mine, in that it was in a much more advanced stage. And it was confronting. I was very lucky because I had this lovely lady who I'm pretty sure won't mind me saying who she is. Actually, okay, no, I better not, because I should probably find out beforehand. But there was this lovely lady who I'm really, really good friends with now, and she was the one who said to me, "Oh, do come down to the coffee morning, but be warned, you will see people there with quite severe MS. You will see people in wheelchairs. You will see people with walking aids. So you need to be prepared for that." So I did go with what I would probably say the right mindset. What I found though over the years is actually far from worrying me. Obviously it does still worry you, but I've met so many people who, despite being in wheelchairs, despite using walking aids, despite having very severe MS, or more aggressive MS, or MS which is in a more advanced stage, who are doing absolutely just like incredible things. And actually that for me has been reassuring in a way. And I'll tell you why, because it was actually one of the most scary things for me. I've always been very active all my life. Sport has been my life. And I still remember the first thing that I said to my neurologist when I was diagnosed was, it wasn't anything about medications or anything like that. It was, can I still play hockey? Because that's how worried I was that, I might have something taken away from me. But I've now met people who, for example, Stephanie Millward. She needs to use a wheelchair at times. She's a Paralympic swimmer. I went and I saw the London Paralympics 2012. I went to see the wheelchair rugby, otherwise known as murder ball, which is just absolutely crazy. And I remember sitting there saying to my sister, if MS ever puts me into a wheelchair, I'm going to be taking up wheelchair rugby. That's what I'm going to do. So actually seeing seeing people whose MS is more advanced than mine, it's in a lot of ways it's prepared me, but it's also made me think about what would I do if, if I was to wake up tomorrow and I've had a relapse and, I've lost some of my mobility. What are the things that I can do? And it doesn't even have to be stuff which is, like sport and exercise. Obviously, that's something that I would want to carry on doing. And actually, in my Zumba class, one of the Zumba classes that I go to, we actually have a lady who comes every week. She's absolutely fantastic, and she's in a wheelchair. And she does the class with everyone else, all the same routines, everything. But she does it in her wheelchair. So, it showed me that things are possible. However, I am aware that not everybody is active, and if you're not very sporty, then it's not that there aren't other things that you can still do. I know someone who, again, is quite severely disabled by their MS, but she's an absolutely just fantastic campaigner. In fact, if you're on Twitter at all, if you look up Shana Pizarro, she's going to be so embarrassed that I've done this, but she's just she's amazing, and she gets around to places and she campaigns, and she just, she does some amazing stuff. And so I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's prepared me, it's made me think about the future and about those what ifs, and it's not as scary anymore. And so what I would say is, if you do have the opportunity to go to meetings, to get involved with MS events, then you will meet some of these amazing people. And for me, anyway, that has really helped to, what's the word? It's really helped to just allay some of the fears, and some of the concerns, and just it's opened my eyes. It's made me think in ways that I wouldn't have necessarily thought before. It's about thinking outside the box. And yeah, like I said, it's really helped me to come to terms with my own diagnosis and what the future may or may not bring. As I said, I in no way want to say, well, this is the right way to do it. That's not what I'm about. I'm all about just sharing my own experiences, and hopefully that might help someone else. So I hope that this might have done. If you enjoy my vlogs, then please do share them. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and also on YouTube. YouTube, type in Trishna Baradia into the search box and you will find me. I have a channel, so please hit subscribe. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Trishna Baradia. And on Facebook, I'm www.facebook.com/Trishna Baradia 2015.